Hello everyone, got two dirty jokes for you today. So a man who was celebrating his 70th birthday felt like he needed to spice things up a bit. So, he decided to pay a visit to a brothel in the city. He strolled around the place, checking out the available options before he finally spotted a beautiful young lady. The man felt like he had hit the jackpot when the woman agreed to accompany him to her room. Once they were in her room, they both got into bed. The man's performance was so impressive that the woman couldn't help but be amazed. She couldn't believe how energetic and agile he was for his age. After their first round of fun, the woman was so impressed that she offered the man a free session if he could keep up the same level of stamina. The man accepted the offer, but he needed a break to regain his energy. "I can do it again," he said, "but I need to take a 20-minute nap, and while I'm asleep, I need you to hold my old pecker." The woman agreed to the request, and the man dozed off. 20 minutes later, the man woke up feeling refreshed and ready for round two. He went at it again, just as vigorously as before, and the woman couldn't believe it. She was even more impressed than before and offered him another free session. Again, the man needed a break and asked the woman to hold his pecker while he took a nap. She agreed, and the man fell asleep. 20 minutes later, he woke up, feeling energized and ready to go at it again, with even more enthusiasm than before. The woman couldn't help but ask, "I can understand why you need the nap, but why do you need me to hold your pecker while you're sleeping?" The man chuckled and said, "Oh, that's just so you don't steal my wallet." So one sunny afternoon, the President of the United States was traveling in a helicopter over the vast swamps of Florida. As he gazed out the window, he marveled at the stunning scenery below, the shimmering water, the lush greenery, and the occasional wildlife darting through the reeds. Suddenly, something caught his eye. It was a small speedboat zooming across the water, towing two tiny figures on water skis behind it. The president squinted, trying to make out the details. As the boat got closer, he realized that the skiers were actually midgets. The president was intrigued. He had heard stories of the eccentric characters who called the Florida swamps their home, but he had never seen them in action. He turned to the helicopter pilot and said, "Can you take us closer to those folks in the speedboat? I'd like to meet them." The pilot nodded and steered the helicopter towards the boat. As they approached, the president could see that the two men driving the boat were rough-looking rednecks with grizzled beards and faded trucker hats. But they seemed to be having a blast, whooping and hollering as they zipped across the water. The president decided to make a spontaneous visit. He instructed the pilot to land the helicopter nearby, and then climbed down onto the speedboat. The rednecks looked up in surprise as the most powerful man in the country stepped onto their rickety vessel. "Hey there, fellas," said the president, beaming. "I couldn't help but notice how well you're working together. It's really inspiring to see people of different backgrounds and sizes enjoying each other's company. You're a true example of the American spirit." The rednecks looked at each other, bewildered. They had no idea who this fancy-dressed guy was or what he was talking about. But they were polite enough to shake his hand and nod along with his speech. After a few more minutes of chit-chat, the president bid them farewell and climbed back onto his helicopter. As he flew away, he couldn't help but feel a little bit smug. He had just had an authentic Florida experience, and he had connected with the common people in a way that few politicians could. Meanwhile, back on the speedboat, the rednecks were scratching their heads. "Who was that guy?" said one of them, squinting at the receding helicopter. "I don't know," said the other. "But he don't know nothing about hunting alligators."